With Wild Card Weekend kicking off in 2 days. Some names on the injury reports worth updating. So, Adam, let's start in Baltimore with some news on Zay Flowers.
Well, Dan, moments ago, the Ravens injury report came out, and Zay Flowers officially was ruled out. He's out of the wild card matchup. John Harbaugh said he did not expect him to play due to the knee injury that he suffered last week against the Cleveland Browns. My understanding is that if the Ravens were to advance, that Flowers would have a realistic chance to be back for the divisional playoff round, but he will not play in the wild card round. He is out of this game. But the Ravens will have their defensive quarterback, Kyle Hamilton, who had missed some practice time this week, but is off the injury report and good to go for the matchup against the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Baltimore Ravens defense is better when he's out there, and he'll be out there on Saturday. And the Pittsburgh Steelers also are expected to have Cameron Hayward, who had missed some practice time due to a bout he had been experiencing with the flu since last Friday. Said today he's been better and better and better, was listed as a full participant in practice today. And, Dan, I think it's safe to say that Cam Hayward would not be missing a playoff game against the Baltimore Ravens over a bout with the flu.
I would think not, Adam, and they are going to need him against Lamar Jackson, who may have just had his best season ever as a passer. Remember, passer rating is a stat that only accounts for a quarterback's passing, not what he does with his legs. Lamar posted a 119.6 passer rating this season. That is the fourth highest by any quarterback in a single season in NFL history. And remember, that has nothing to do with him as a runner, just as a passer. Almost 2.5 points better than the passer rating Tom Brady posted in 2007, Dan Orlovsky, when he became the first quarterback in history to throw 50 touchdowns. So tell us, what's making Lamar so good this year?
A lot. I think the growth and the development of him being a proactive rather than reactive passer is a big deal. Also, them organizing some of their pass game concepts. One of the things that Baltimore loves to do is they want a lot of their pass games to be, one, full progression, so the coverage doesn't necessarily matter. They get up there and read it out. And two, everything flowing into Lamar's vision. Now, what does that mean when it comes to everything flowing into Lamar's vision? They want concepts or routes where you have a flat route to the sideline right now, and then you get a corner route going vertical, and then you get a shallow route, and then a deep over. So you see how everything is just, once you start to the left side of the field, everything as you work across the field is your vision. It's number 1 to number 2, then it's really number 3 to 4. So if you start somewhere, you just constantly work through off of what the defenders do. So I love this for 2 reasons. Number 1, there's an efficient throw, and then there's an explosive throw. The efficient throw, go to the flat right now. There's always a completion in this offense, and when it comes to that read, Lamar Jackson understands that corner tells him what to do. If that corner comes up and he's wildly aggressive, he'll throw the corner route. And if this corner, no matter who, the flat defender, if he gets depth, then Lamar throws that ball right now and it's completion. On this play, that corner's going to get a little nosy. And so as that flat or out route goes here and this corner jumps up, great. Now Lamar Jackson understands I want to throw that corner route. This is what I love about the growth of their pass game. Bateman's running the corner route right here. And a lot of times a young player thinks he has to go inside right now to get this safety to drive up. But then you lose leverage, meaning Bateman's already outside that safety. Don't need in. Just continue to go to the corner route and trust that Lamar Jackson is going to see you. This is beautiful because the touch of the throw is ideally perfect. Now, let's live in a world where Lamar wants to throw that corner route and this safety takes it away because he's the only guy, once that flat defender takes that shallow, to take it away. Well, then Lamar would work then up to number 3 and number 4. But the question everybody at home should be asking is, well, if that corner's responsible for a certain area, why is he jumping up to take likely on this flat route? And this is where the growth of Lamar Jackson is, right? This corner has vision on Lamar. He's sitting there, it's zone. He's looking through likely right to Lamar Jackson. What I love is Lamar Jackson knows, yeah, I can take that easy 5-yard out because there's an efficient throw there, or I could be proactive with my eyes and really stare at likely to get that corner to say, oh, Lamar is going to throw the ball to him with his feet and eyes set there, and that's what's going to open up Bateman on the corner route. Watch the corner. He immediately jumps up. There's no reason for him to do that other than Lamar staring there with a little bit of a shoulder and almost pump fake, and that opens up Bateman on the corner route, and then the ability to throw the ball absolutely flawlessly in that vacated zone is perfect. That's a different Lamar. That he didn't do that consistently in those early years, but the growth and the ability and the capacity to do that on a consistent basis, that's why those statistical passing numbers have just skyrocketed.
Yeah, that's awesome stuff. And I don't think a lot of people have their arms around how much he's advanced as a passer.
It's huge.
Just this season.
It's huge.
After winning MVP last year. Jason, he will not, however, have his top receiver, Zay Flowers, for this game, as we heard from Adam Schefter. So how does that change the way the Pittsburgh Steelers can defend the Baltimore passing attack?
Well, it changes a lot because Zay Flowers makes up a ton of their offense. And that's not just the down the field passing with those deep in cuts. It's also part of the motions and shifts that set up a lot of the run game for the Baltimore Ravens. And he's the gadget guy. He's the one that they want to throw those quick screens to and get the ball in his hands. For the Steelers, without Zay Flowers being out there, Joey Porter Jr. now can follow Rashad Bateman all around the field because the Steelers are going to play single high. They did it 83% and 79% in both the games that they played against the Baltimore Ravens. They know they have to get more people around the line of scrimmage to stop the run. With no Zay Flowers out there, you feel really good about your matchups on the outside. The question mark for the Steelers is, how do you match up with Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely? Yeah. I would imagine the Ravens go more 12 personnel without Zay Flowers in the lineup and force him to have to match up, whether it's Deshaun Elliott, Patrick Queen, or Peyton Wilson. Those guys have to match up with those two tight ends and get the ball in Likely's hands early and often because he can be your catch-and-run guy.
J-Mac, I think you hit the mark on the head, man. I think it's not only Likely and Mark Andrews, but I could see them using Patrick Ricard and Charlie Kolar as well. So while I do understand that Flowers' injury matters, there's 4 different tight ends that Baltimore can use to create different matchups and get into different offensive packages, both run and pass. I do think it becomes a heavy tight end game.
Huge divisional rivalry renewed in Saturday night's Wild. We'll be back with you in a minute. This will be a strength-on-strength matchup in the run game, as both the Eagles offense and the Packers defense rank in the top 10 in the league in yards per game, yards per rush, 10-yard rushes, and yards before contact per rush. So, Dan Orlovsky, are the Packers going to continue to find success with their run defense against Saquon Barkley and the Eagles?
Obviously a massive challenge, but I really think a huge key in this game is their young linebacker, Edgerrin Cooper. He has been, I don't know off the field this year, but when he's on the field, their run defense is absolutely legit, number one. I think he's got a really good feel for defeating or deceiving double teams, like hopping up, here comes that double team, and then athletic enough to play over the top with some suddenness. The second thing, he's strong. You know, you got to be really good with where your eyes are as an offensive guy to make sure that you take him on in the right spot, because if not, he shoots and kind of closes some seams. His ability to play over the top, almost like his counterpart, Zach Bond, in this game, very difficult to block, and then his strength of just running through blocks, never stopping his feet. Just from the offensive perspective, you have to know that this young man is a quick-to-trigger type of linebacker and capable of defeating plenty of blocks. And if I was Philly, respect for everybody's front, your focus point has to be, we got to make sure that we get a hat on 56 all the time, because if we block him, we'll have success. And if we don't, he can in many ways significantly impact how successful we are running the ball.
The thing you said that triggered me the most is that quick trigger that he has of going downhill. Because to me, to stop Saquon Barkley in this offensive line that the Eagles have, you have to penetrate and you have to get in the backfield and force Saquon Barkley to stop his feet. If he doesn't do that and he's coming downhill at you all day, it won't work. The Cleveland Browns did an excellent job against them earlier in the season. They had 5 plays that were for negative or 0 yards, and that had to do with running downhill, as you saw Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah did there, and getting Saquon to not be able to run downhill and go unblocked into the second level of the defense. The Steelers